All right, everybody, thank you for joining tonight's Zoom call with head coach Pat Noonan. If we're going to start with questions here in person and then move to the Zoom. If you have a question to ask on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. Pat, we'll get started with a statement about tonight's match.
Well, certainly not our strongest performance, but where we lacked in attacking, ideas and creativity, we made up for with how we defended the ball. That's why we were able to win a game tonight. So a credit to the group as a whole with how, we, suffered in a lot of moments, especially in the second half, to keep a clean sheet against a team that was very dangerous in getting the ball into the box with wide service and set pieces. I thought our guys did an excellent job of defending the goal and defending, one of the best, like I said, prior to the game in the world, in front of goal, in the air.
Sorry, Carter. Pat, it felt like the game really shifted first half to second half. What was the differences you saw in DC that gave them that change, and then maybe from your side that allowed it?
We couldn't keep the ball, and I thought structure-wise we're disciplined in both halves with getting pressure to the ball and being tough to break down. And like I said, we didn't have a lot of creativity and good hold-up play from our attacking group, and they kind of fed off of that and pinned us in. And when you allow teams to attack you from those positions, like I said, and get service into the box, not only is it a challenge to defend crosses, but now it's the second phase of being able to secure the ball closer to your goal or anticipate plays to be able to control the ball and move us up the field. And we weren't able to do that, at all in the second half.
You highlighted in your opening statement there about being able to particularly mark service into Benteke and from out wide. But Nick Hagelin spent all night on him, went really battled. Could you just share your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, one of Nick's best performances for me in the jersey. And I know there's been plenty, but the task that was in front of him and how he anticipated service, how he used his body, how he defended set pieces, it was just a really strong performance. The play he makes on a wide free kick to, I think, head it out for a corner is such a difficult play, and he made a bunch of those tonight. So really, really pleased for him. And you could see it with the whole group after the game. Everybody knew we didn't play particularly well, but what I like to see is guys that recognize it and then still enjoyed the fact that when we weren't at our best, defending the right way is important, and defending to protect the lead and keep a clean sheet is important to them. And so that I was really pleased with.
Dado Valenzuela gets the goal for you guys tonight. And could you kind of go into your decision-making on why he got the choice tonight, and then what you saw from him?
Well, we've got some injuries in the attacking positions. That's not to, discredit Dado in earning minutes, but the guys that were ahead of him, obviously Evander, Corey recently, guys that I think had been more consistent in training and done well with their minutes, certainly in the game. Two of those players were out, and we felt with how we wanted to set up our group with and without the ball that, this could be a good opportunity for Dado. And I said it before New England, I think there was a missed opportunity for him with some of that week in training, and he took it really well, and he had a good week and did some good things tonight, and I'm happy he got the goal because that's important for him and certainly for our team. But there was plenty that I look at for him and for all of our attackers that we need to improve with just composure and anticipation and reading the game. But overall, if you were to say how does he perform tonight, he got a plus rating because he scores the goal and he does some other things well that I hadn't seen enough of, I would say, prior. And he also hasn't had a lot of opportunities. So hopefully we can and he can build on this.
We've been asking for so long, when is Matt going to be back? He makes an appearance tonight. How important was that to get him into a game for him and the club? And
Yeah.
what'd you make of it?
It's nice to see him back. You could feel his energy in trainings, in meetings, certainly here on the road, on the flight, on the bus. It's just a little bit louder, and there's some good banter with him, and his presence is important. And on top of that, tonight getting those game minutes and meaningful game minutes where he needed to help us close out the game and protect the lead, I thought was certainly good for him. We looked at ways to potentially push his minutes and get him out there, but I thought the back line was doing really well, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and we didn't want to change that rhythm. So he came in and did a good job.
We've talked all, start of the season, all the things you've been through, the injuries, the travel, the schedules and stuff. But at the end of tonight, and there's things to work out in the table, but you guys are tied for the top in the Eastern Conference. To go through that stretch with all those challenges and then find yourself now still at the top.
Right.
What does that do for the confidence of the group and then for what you guys can do moving forward?
I think they expect it. I do. We're missing key pieces. We know that, but they believe in each other. You can see it. You can feel it. Even when we don't perform well, they're still capable of winning games. But at the same time, we need to get more healthy bodies and stay very competitive in training because, how long can you survive going from week to week with missing 3, 4, 5 key pieces? That's tough. And so we've weathered the storm early, and I think getting some of these pieces back and, how these guys push each other is going to be important, especially for the guys that have come in over the past couple weeks and done well with their minutes and helped us win games, because now it just creates more competition, and guys that are coming back have to step in and perform right away.
All right, we'll now move to the Zoom with Laurel Failer. Laurel, go ahead.
Thank you. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Kind of going along with that last question, how important do you think this stretch could end up being for you guys when you look back? It's hard to predict, obviously,
Yeah.
how the rest of the season's going to be, but just getting 9 points out of these 3 games with so many pieces, in and out, how important do you think that could be down the stretch?
Yeah, like you said, we'll see. It's still too early, but I think in the moment for guys that are getting more minutes and for some of the pieces that are out, I think it tells the group that we have good depth and we have different ways that we can approach games to go and get results. We talked a lot before the game though about consistency and trying to build on the last two wins, but more build on the performance of last week, because I thought it was stronger than our win in Nashville. But that's where I think we need to see a little bit more on an individual and a collective level. Is if we want to remain at the top, we have to perform more consistent, and that's with a full group of players or with missing pieces. So that's the challenge. But if we can get results when we're not at our best and when we don't have a full group, I think that should certainly give the guys a lot of hope about what this group can accomplish, as we move forward and as we get a little healthier.
And then going back to Dotto, he seemed to show a lot of confidence in how he took that goal. And I know his
Yeah.
start to the season was impacted by his injury in preseason, but is there something different about him this year, or some things that you're seeing that maybe you didn't last year?
He's maturing. You might not see it right away with the on-field and those performances, but things that he's doing to take care of himself and just how he's talking about improving and the work that he wants to do, after training, video, I think he's growing up, and that's a good sign. And you hear from, different departments of the things that, maybe he's improving on that wasn't the case last year. So I think he's challenging himself in a good way. And it's tough to come off of an injury and work your way into a team and contribute. And he's been able to do that because of, I think, a good approach and an opportunity. And, he took his opportunity well tonight. Like you said on the goal, he does really well to use his body to create an advantage. And then when he gets into that, 1v1 moment where I think there was cover coming from behind, but how he creates a shot is the creativity I think we were lacking a lot of the night. But in that moment, he provided it for us, and it got us the goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pat.
All right, thanks.